Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday. It's April 8th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and it, it was really kind of a tough trading day. There's just not a lot of trades here. There's a few, but you had to be really patient, especially early on this morning. I mean, literally before 10:30, we had maybe one trade, two if you look at this one, count it. So there just wasn't much going on. It was a tough day. Um, And notice that notice the gap. This is that new indicator we're using. Here's the close from the previous day, which would have been Friday. Here's where we opened at 8:30. So there's a gap from there to there. And notice how we continue to trade down, but then we reversed and we actually had two legs up. And to fill that gap, basically, we went sideways there at that level before we pushed a little bit higher. Um, and the way I got this is I measured this first leg up, and then here's your correction. And you could measure from here. I'd measure from here or here, but this was your lowest point before we started higher. So that's going to be that's probably where I'm going to be looking from. You see, we basically got a perfect measured move before it corrected, and we pushed a little bit higher after 2 o'clock. So there's really two measured legs up there to fill that gap. And we really struggled. We really struggled right at this price level, 28.92. There just was strong resistance there, and we had to fail out the bottom a couple of times before we finally pushed on through there. So just not a lot going on. I will say too, I believe that we have um, the news indicator corrected. I'm going to use it a couple of days before I post it up to the site. By the time I figured it out today, there weren't any news items. You notice that the error is gone though, and I changed the time and it popped a couple of things up there. So, but I'm going to watch it for a couple of days, just see that it works properly. If it does, I'll post it to the site, and you can add the new news item. I mean, you can always just go check it every morning. Doesn't take but a second, but it's pretty nice when you just open your chart and there the news items are that you have to worry about. So it's nice to have that. So we'll try to get it going. I believe we have it corrected and working, but like I said, I want to give it a day or so because I don't want to post it and go through all that trouble, then have to redo it again. So I'll watch it for a day or two, see how it's working, and by the end of the week, if it's working okay, I will go ahead and upload it. So let's talk about the trades. It won't take long today, just not much here. I mean, this stuff right here, just stay out of that because you'll get whipsawed trading it both ways. And I've gotten several questions today from fairly new traders asking about failures and second entries. And listen, I'm just going to tell you, if you're new to this, don't worry so much about failures. Yeah, there's some great trades there, but you need to concentrate on second entries. And once you understand and have a complete understanding of second entries, and you're getting pretty good at this, the failures they'll be obvious and make perfectly good sense. So I tell people, don't worry about those too much right now, because if you're trying to learn them both at the same time, you're just going to trip yourself up and have troubles, and it's just not worth it. So my advice is to you, concentrate on the second entries, and once you've got that down, there won't be any questions on failures because it'll make perfectly good sense, because um, you'll learn to spot second entries pretty quickly, and you'll realize when they're a failure, and you'll know when to, you won't have to be asking me questions about them. I promise you. So for now, just kind of ignore those if you're fairly new, because I continue to just get bombarded with questions about failed second entries. People want me to try to explain them to them, and I don't mind explaining them, but it gets hard to just explain it over and over every day, when I think you're better served to concentrate on second entries. And then once you get your second entries down, the failures will make perfect sense. So um, anyway, let's talk about the trades again. Stay out. This is just 7 o'clock hour came right here, which we had a little breakout of the congestion area, but we just went right into another one. There's just so many bars stacked up there. You're better off to stay out of that. Wait for some confirmation that we're going lower. You might have taken this short. This is just a big congestion area, range type area. You can see all that support across there, so you can't go short into that, and you don't want to go long into the highs here. But there's a little breakout pullback kind of short here. Even then, I think this is very risky. But you might expect that measured leg down. If you measure this first leg, you can see that. Then you look for a measured leg down, and we got real close. So you may be looking for that. There's not very much room between entering here when it broke lower and here, and if you go here, you're short here, you're going short at the very low of the day. So it's a little risky. I marked it green. It's one you may take because it probably is a little bit of a trap there. They probably trapped some people trying to get long right there. That trend line right there should have kept you out of any longs. So just keep that in mind. And you got another little short right here, right off the trend line, but you've been below that EMA and way away from it for so long. It's just a matter of time till we come back. And even though this worked, if there was enough room to get out here, I'd say probably take this trade, but it's real. There actually might be just enough room, but notice that's an overshoot. So that's pretty risky going short right there. So that's a possibility, but I think you're better served to just wait. See if something better doesn't come along. And then we just start going sideways again. We do push down and we start going sideways. Notice that we do have a move down. We've got an overshoot and we tried to go lower twice and you get this nice bullish bar. So when it breaks above that, you may go long. And it is a little breakout pullback really from that congestion area there. So that's the first trade I see that I really like, and it's just because it's a trap to the downside. It's a reversal pattern. Well, you get another little breakout pullback here, but that's too congestive. It's not back to the EMA. Second entry long right here, but again, very neutral bar, very risky, right into that support resistance area. And then we just kind of get back in there again where we started this morning, and we're just going sideways again. And it's tempting to go long right here, but you don't have enough room to get out and you would have got burned. Same thing right here. You don't really get a good signal bar. And it finally drops down. This is somewhat of a repeat pattern from this right here. So that's a possibility if you look at it like that. If you see the repeat pattern, that's a possibility. So I may mark that one green. That's not a real easy to spot type of repeat, but it is a repeat pattern. And then plus you're going short right at that trend line. That's the main reason that really scares me. It's congestive as well, lots of bars stacked up, but you can see the lower highs each time, and that's a sign that you may break lower. So, and generally you don't want to trade a breakout like that, but really if you saw the repeat pattern, that'd be the only way I'd say you might take that trade. And it's tempting to go long here, but because of that repeat pattern, I would wait. And then of course it pushes back up and it pulls back and you get a little small bullish bar at the very low. You got plenty of room to get out. I like entering there. Plus it's the first break of this trend line, so you would expect it to try a retest. Notice we run up, make a new high, then we make a double top, and it actually breaks higher here and goes lower. So you may go short right there. Pulls back and gives you a failed second entry long right here. Big bearish bar. That's probably the better place to go short. And you might expect it to try to bounce here again. It pushes through and it fails, and then you get another reversal pattern right there. And this actually lets you go long right back at the support again. Pushes through, pulls back. Notice the new low, first entry, second entry. Nice place to go long. Takes it a while to move on up, so you may have gotten shaken out of that one with only a tick or two. It does push up, it comes back and tests that original resistance area, but it's right back into those highs. So I doubt, you don't really want to take that. Same thing here. Plus you're overshooting this channel. That's a clear channel working up, and now you're overshooting it, although it could be two-tiered. I mean, you can see it's pretty much equal distance, so it's probably two tier, and this is probably a midline. So you don't want to be going short here, so you're just looking for longs, and notice it comes back, and you get a first entry, then it pulls back, and you get a little close outside that trend line, and you get a second entry long with a fairly bullish bar right into the 2 o'clock, so you may take that one as well. So again, there's just not many good trades here today. We spent a lot of time going sideways and up and down. This was really the only good movement we had in the middle of the day, because really from maybe 9:15, 9:30 to almost 10:30, there's nothing happening. Then we finally start moving from there. So once you saw this leg, and then it was pretty obvious we may be going a second leg, you might start looking for an entry, but it doesn't come back to the key entry point till right here, and that's just the first entry. So I think you want to wait on the second entry, which doesn't come till here. And so you only really get one good setup off of that. This one you can't take off that trend line because it's right into these highs. And even though it pushes through, and it does come back with a little double test right there. So that one's a possibility. But the problem right here is that this has been really tight, and this has been a clear channel, and you got that little bit of an overshoot. So you could tick higher and come back here to the trend line and get a break before you go higher, or you could come back inside this trading range that's been shooting across here. But there is a double test, and so that's a possibility. We'll mark that one green. But other than that, there's just not much here today. So you got to be real careful trading this stuff, and you got to be real careful with reversals. Or not necessarily reversals, but failures, because you'll get whipsawed. There's several failed second entries to the long side and the short side here, and you'll just get chopped up. So when it starts going sideways like that, forget about failures. Generally, you want to look for your failures on a range day at the lows and the highs. You're looking for reversal type patterns. So just keep that in mind. When it's trending up like this, you're only looking for reversal failures to the low side. So, and when you're trending down, you're only looking for failures to the high side. But it's when you get in this stuff where you got to be really careful, because failures, you'll have failures on, notice what happens right here. You got a failed second entry long when it turned down here. And then you got a failed second entry short when it turned down here. And then it fails back to the upper side. And so you just got to be real careful. You get failures in both directions. And that's when people really start to get confused and don't understand what's going on. And that's when you need to have a really good understanding of price action. And you need to know that, hey, it's time to forget about failures and just look for entries at the lows here or the highs here. So anyway, not a very great, not a lot of trades today. You had to be really patient early on. Like I said, before 10:30, we maybe had one good trade. And even then, this is not a perfect reversal, but it's there. It does push through and pull back. It is a third touch off the trend line. It confirms it. It is a failed second entry short. Everything to the downside had played out. So you did have two legs down to a new low. So other than that, you just had to sit tight and wait. And then after that, you had to sit tight and wait again, because you didn't really get a reversal up here. You just went sideways, and you would have got chopped up looking for a reversal. So anyway, not much else we can say about today. Just a slow day, not a lot of entries. You had to be real patient, and sometimes it's best just to take the day off on a day like this. Be honest with you. Of course, as soon as you do, you'll come back and you'll see the market went crazy. But that's just the way it is. You got to either be able to sit patient or get up and get away from it for a little bit. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Again, I'll keep you posted about the news item, but I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.